These neighborhoods that were all black had their own institutions, their own grocery stores, their own cleaners, their own hospitals, etc. And that's where most of the employment was, in those segregated facilities. I came from a really wonderful family, except for my big brother. Any of you have a big brother, big sister, the oldest? It's a hard job.
A typical speech need not last longer than 25 or 30 minutes, depending on the setting, the schedule, the wishes of the host, and the occasion, and depending as well on whether there will be time for questions. There will be the opportunity for questions tonight. President Woodrow Wilson was said to have asked a group inviting him to speak before a trade association how long they wanted him to speak, adding that a 10-minute speech would take him a week to prepare. A 5-minute speech, 10 days to prepare.
The oldest armory in the country, set up by George Washington to build sidearms for the Revolutionary War. I have a friend, Roz, and she heard the story and she goes, honey, and I'm going to ask you guys to do a lot of singing with me, and we're going to start now. She said, honey, it's not World War II without the music. It's very clear.
And I would work on them and fix them in the living room. And I got really good at it because I was going to make it work no matter how long it took. I would devote everything I had to it. And then one day, my father left his watch, and I wonder how this works. And I took it apart, and I put it back together, and it didn't work. And my father was very angry with me, and he said, well, I think he was grudgingly angry, he was making light of it, but said, you must make it work, Henry. And so I kept working, and I took it apart, and looked at everything, put it back together, took it apart, put it back together. This went on for weeks. And finally I put it back together, and it worked perfectly.
He and my grandfather had actually traveled in 1878 to the gold fields of California to make their fortune. 1878. That's almost 30 years after the gold rush. Though reflecting back on that, 50 years later, in 1928, I did strike gold in California. So it stayed in the family. But they had traveled across. My father had worked many jobs in many places around America, including helping to build the Union Pacific Rail line across Colorado, which he got really tired of doing, and went to Denver, where he worked as a fiddle player.
Put a rainbow in the clouds. I am so happy to have been here all this week. Whenever I travel, wherever I go, I learn from the people I meet, and Greeley has been no exception to that. But now I feel as though I want you to know me a little bit. I am primarily, besides a child of God, a poet. I love words.
Talent lies. Some have said the best part of my comedy is that I know where to find the target. There's no doubt about it. The arse is the seat of self-consciousness. My years in the Carno Company were invaluable. All the pieces we did were boisterous, filled with acrobatic humor. It took a year to get the repertoire, the dozen shows down. You had to learn a number of parts. When a member of the cast left, another actor would replace him. It was like taking a screw or a pin out of a delicate piece of machinery.